Howdy, friends. Welcome to another day of the AI Developer course where we learn via writing code and we do daily micro builds. We are in module 1 where we are learning the basics of LLM, prompting techniques, and context engineering. Let's have a look at today's micro build task. We want to A/B test LLM personalities. We want to create two personas for our AI chatbot, and we would like to compare the personas objectively. So let's get to it. I would again recommend you to pause the video and give it a shot yourself. This should hardly take 10 to 15 minutes. Resume the video once you're done. Alright, let's get started. So we're also going to use Anthropic for this particular task. Our task is to create two personas for our LLMs. I have created a terse and a helpful persona. A terse is going to be more direct, and a helpful persona is going to be a more friendly persona. You can use the last script pretty much. So if you recall our send message, we now have got a conditional based on the LLM persona provided, and look at the system prompt here. For the persona, we've got you are a senior software engineer, answer concisely and to the point, use technical language, no examples unless strictly necessary. And look at the system prompt for the helpful persona. You are a patient teacher explaining concepts to beginners. Use simple language, include examples and analogies, be encouraging. So it's quite powerful how the system prompt is able to give personality to your LLM. Want to introduce another concept, which is the temperature. Temperature is a value between 0 and 1, and it influences how creative you want your model to be. Lower scores being more precise and deterministic, and higher scores being more creative. So if you look at this example for the terse persona, I've got a very deterministic temperature there, and for the encouraging or the helpful persona, I have got the model to be a little more creative there. Everything else should be pretty familiar. Create a Anthropic client and create a message API call. Provide the model ID. Provide the temperature. Provide the system prompt and the message, which is the user prompt over here. And this is how pretty similar how you get the response out of the model. That is the first part of the micro build task. All right, so let's have a look at the second part of the task. How would we compare the personalities objectively? There are a few ways to do that. You could look at the output of the LLM and you could use some rules on it, like what is the length of the result, what is the sentiment of the result. So something that lets you derive some form of metrics out of the results. Why is that important? Because you would want to try out two different personalities for your users, and you want some objective way to understand one model is better than the other, and hence you can roll it out to a lot of users. So you need to come up with some form of quantification on how is a model better than the other. For this example, I'm using a concept called the LLM Judge. And LLM Judge is a unbiased LLM that is looking at both of these answers and trying to evaluate which is a better answer. Again, you can provide it certain criteria that the judge would use to judge or assess both the answers. So let's have a look. Um, so he's the LLM judge, and here is the prompt for the LLM judge. You are an expert evaluator. You're given a question and two answers, and your task is to rate both the answers from 1 to 5 based on this criteria. And this is the criteria that we have defined, which we think is the measure of a good quality answer. We've also asked the LLM to respond in a JSON format where we are computing metrics for both of the answers here. We can then store this metric somewhere, and then we can review these metrics as a post processing to understand which model is doing better, and then we can roll it out to a bigger population. So that is what the prompt looks like for LLM Judge. Let's and then you send a message similar to how you were sending a message to Anthropic. Again, you've got a model here. You have got your system prompt, which is your precise JSON output generator for evaluation task, and the whole LLM Judge is being done by the prompt that we are passing it here. All right, let's see how do we wire this up. The boilerplate code is still the same. Make sure that you've got your API key on the environment variable. You have created your Anthropic client, and you have got a list of questions, and you're going to be passing the same questions to both of the personas that you've created. You capture the response from both of the personas, and then you pass it on to our LLM judge, and you try to compute metrics on what is a better answer according to the judge. Uh, let's have a look. Let's go. All right, you can see the model responding. You can look at the example here. So what was the hash map? You can have a look that the helpful model has tried to respond with a very detailed answer over here, whereas the terse model, if you have a look, uh, very concise, very concise, right? And if you look at the metrics that got computed, you have this is what the LLM judge is spitting out. It has looked at various different criterias and is trying to judge which answer is better than others. And it's going to do that for all of the questions that we have passed to the two different personalities and the LLM judge. Yeah, so you can see the brevity and con conciseness is better for our terse model because it is instructed to be more precise. That is all for this particular assignment. That is all for today's micro build. Today, we learned basic concepts about LLM personalities. We looked into a bit of prompt tuning. We looked at the concept of LLM Judge and how powerful it could be for assessing model performance. And we looked into temperature settings for model creativity. That is all. I hope you had fun. Please spend some time to play around with the code snippet and try to learn more about these concepts. Have fun. See you again tomorrow in next micro build. Cheers.